Hey you guys, it's me, Natasha Weston, and welcome back to my channel. I get so many questions about launching a podcast. What do I need? What kind of equipment do I need? And y'all just always have so many questions, which I love. And so just a quick backstory. If you are new to my whole podcasting journey, I started my podcast, Table Talk with Toddy, back in, I want to say 2015, 2016. I'm leaning more towards 2016. But it's been a minute since I started. We are now in our 8th season. I now have my own podcast network. And behind the scenes, every day, I am helping small business owners, entrepreneurs, and creatives with busy lives to launch podcasts in one day. It has been a very rewarding journey, and I obviously get a lot of questions about how to go about doing it. So, in today's video, I want to share with you 5 things I wish I knew before launching my podcast show. But there are 5 things that I want you to just start thinking about if you are thinking about launching your own podcast show. So I have my phone here with my YouTube schedule and all of my notes. And so if you stay tuned, then you'll be able to also get this really crazy strategy that I've been using with my clients and with the talent over at Talkspot Network to help them to see incredible reviews and incredible downloads even before their launch date. So if this is something that you're interested in, stay tuned, but don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up this video, and share it with everybody that you know that wants to launch a podcast. Let's go. Okay, so let's start with the obvious, right? Focus less on the equipment and more on the content. This is especially important because I feel like when you hear podcasts, you immediately think about microphones and headphones and what kind of computer do I need? Do I need to do audio and video at the same time? These are all really common thoughts that come across people's minds that want to start podcasts. But I'm here to tell y'all for the first, I'll say 4 years of me having my podcast, 3, 4 years, I recorded my podcast on my iPhone, the outdated one I might add. I didn't even have the up-to-date phone. I recorded on my iPhone voice memo in my closet in my 1-bedroom apartment. Tyler was maybe like 1, 2. My mom lived with us. We were in a 1-bedroom apartment, and that is where I recorded like the first several seasons of my podcast, and it was still a huge success. The thing about equipment is that like you don't have to dive into spending a whole lot of money on that at first. Because really, when you start a podcast, and you may think you want to do it, but it's more work than people think it is. And so I wouldn't advise you start off, unless you have the budget and disposable income, I wouldn't suggest going out immediately and buying microphones and headphones and all of the nice fancy equipment. I didn't get my first microphone until years after I started. And if you go back and listen, like my audio wasn't terrible, right? I would just recommend if you are going to use your phone, make sure that you are in an enclosed space, aka like a closet, a bedroom, somewhere that has like padded flooring and wall. But most importantly, making sure that you're not like in a kitchen or a bathroom somewhere where it would pick up an echo. That's all you need to know. You do not need to start off with a whole bunch of fancy equipment. I would focus more on what you're saying and the value that you're delivering to your listeners and your audience, because that's what's going to stick with them the most. Once you podcast for a while, podcast, is that a word or did I just make that up? Once you have had your podcast for a minute and you're like, oh, I think this is something that I really want to get more into. This is something that is helping me get to my bottom line. This is something that is allowing me to get more followers, more engagement, more website visitors, etc., whatever your goal is. Then I would suggest investing in a microphone first. Now, my first microphone I got on Amazon. It was maybe like $36. I was able to purchase a kit where it came with the microphone, the boom arm, etc. And that was the first thing I invested in. That's the most important thing, obviously. And then I invested in a better computer. I went from a PC, I had an HP computer from college, and then I invested in a MacBook Pro just because once I got to a certain level in my podcasting journey, I wanted to add a video element. And I needed better editing equipment than I think I was using Windows Movie Maker. No shade to Windows Movie Maker because it got me on through. I wanted to step up the quality of my show. So those were like the first 2 areas that I did invest in. Focus more on the content and less on the equipment. The second thing I wish I knew before launching my podcast is to brand your show to match your personal brand so that it has room to grow with you. Girl, what are you talking about? If you follow me for a while, y'all have seen the evolution of Table Talk with Toddy. So we started off, as far as branding. When I say branding, I mean like the visual elements and all that good stuff. So when we started, I think it was like a turquoise teal, a pink, and something along those lines. And then as my show evolved, I went to pink, a light pink, a gray, a white, and a black. And what happened was my personal brand and my podcast had totally different branding elements. Whenever it was time for me to promote episodes on my personal page, like my Instagram and my Facebook, I was having to recreate graphics to match my branding colors, which y'all see my branding colors. It's very obvious now. It's like the orangey and like the teal turquoise color, a darker shade, the dark gray, and the white. And I was having to literally go on the Table Talk with Toddy page and recreate pink, white, and gray graphics and translate them into my personal brand colors. And it was confusing because when people would go to the podcast Instagram page and Facebook page, they're like, are these two different brands? When I say brand your show so it aligns with your personal brand, I mean make sure that your show is branded to match your existing brand. That makes it easy to create content. That makes it easy to cross promote your episodes. So if you do have a separate page for your podcast, you don't have to recreate graphics and recreate digital marketing assets and things like that. Everything can kind of be cross promoted. So you'll see sometimes when I'm promoting episodes about my podcast on my personal page at Official Toddy, follow me by the way, I can literally post on my personal page a new episode is live graphic and use that same graphic in a couple of weeks or the same week later on to post on the Table Talk with Toddy page. That was something that I recently learned, is that like everything that you're doing in your personal brand should totally align with what your podcast is. So it's super easy for me to cross promote and promote my show. And if somebody sees a Table Talk with Toddy marketing postcard lying around, they automatically associate those brand colors, those fonts with Natasha Weston, because my branding elements are unique to yours truly. That is my second tip. That's the thing that I wish somebody told me before I launched my podcast. The third thing I wish I knew before launching my podcast is to pick a posting schedule that fits your specific lifestyle. What I mean by that is don't be out here trying to post a new episode every week when you work a full-time job, you got 3 kids, and they're all in soccer or sports. It is absolutely no way possible unless you have a full-blown team to fully execute one new episode every week with that type of lifestyle. If you are retired and you have nothing but time on your hands and it takes you 20 minutes to edit, an hour to record, then that's more likely that that type of schedule, posting schedule, would accommodate you. But in the beginning, I tried to do one new episode every week, and let me tell y'all, about took me out because it wasn't realistic. I had a small child, I was working a 9 to 5, and it was just really impossible for me to schedule out time to plan my episodes, plan the content. If I had a guest on, to coordinate schedules with them, figure out when we could do the interview, edit the interview, get it scheduled, post it, get all of the description box copy ready, and schedule it to go live. That's not including making graphics, making audio graphics, and all of the things that you need to do to market your show. And by the way, if you are struggling with planning your podcast content, I do have a podcast planner that I wrote or did back in 2017. I'll leave the information for it down in the description box. I am doing a digital version this year, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. If you just heard in a nutshell all of the different moving parts of launching a new episode, it's a lot of work. And so you want to take into consideration what your lifestyle is and what you can actually do, because the problem with overcommitting to one new episode a week or anything more than that is that you make your audience and your listeners a promise that you can't keep, and they'll move on to the next show, baby. I started doing my show in seasons. So I do 12 episodes in a season. Your season could be different if you wanted to. And I tell people twice a month, or you can say bi-weekly, or you can tell people once a month. Whatever it is you can handle, I'd rather you do it that way than to overcommit and lose your listeners. And so pick a posting schedule that aligns with your specific lifestyle. The fourth thing I wish someone told me, or I wish I knew before launching my podcast, is to batch record. record your episodes. This helps you to have time to plan future content and avoid burnout. I recently did a VIP day for a podcasting client, and within the VIP day, we get together, and in that 5-hour time frame, we batch record episodes so that when they leave their VIP day, they literally don't have to record any new content if they don't want to for a good month and a half, 2 months. This is incredible because majority of my clients in particular are busy. They are working full-time corporate jobs or working full-time. They have families and they don't have time to commit right now to recording new episodes often. And so essentially the goal is to get them kickstarted so that they can find their rhythm. And she told me at the end of our VIP day, like, I never thought about batching my episodes, but I'm going to have to batch my episodes. This is incredible because in just 5 hours, we were able to do so much. And so now all she has to do is launch her show and promote her episodes. She can spend more time on marketing and promoting than actually creating the content. And so batch recording your episodes is going to save you time if you are busy and if you already have a really full life and a really, really, really full schedule. You guys probably don't know this, but in the past, I batched so many of my episodes that I had them scheduled out for whole seasons. And literally all I was doing was promoting the episodes when they went live on the podcasting directories. And so that's the fourth thing I wish I knew before launching my podcast that I want to share with you guys to save y'all time and help you to work smarter and not harder. And the fifth thing, Lord, I wish I knew before launching my podcast, and it's a strategy that I started implementing with my clients when I started dedicating time to help others launch their shows. Y'all got a pen and a paper for this one, and I can't believe I'm giving this away because this is supposed to be like top-notch secret. Y'all come closer. All right, y'all close? Okay, boom. Drive traffic to your podcast on the main directories before your official launch date. Did y'all hear me? When you pick a date to launch your podcast, right? When you pick a date for your first episode to go live, pick your date, but create an intro / a trailer to go with your show. If you want an example of what an intro or trailer is, just go listen to the beginning of any of my podcast episodes or my clients. I'll leave some down in the description just in case you need some reference. 30 to 60 seconds max. Just tell them who you are. Tell them what to expect in the podcast. Tell them what the podcast is about and ask them to subscribe. It will take you no time. You can do this on your voice memo right now. Take that and upload that into your podcast hosting service. If you need a podcast host, I am partners with Libsyn. And if you use my code, which I will leave all the information in the description, it can get you up to a couple of free months of hosting. And so when you sign up for a Libsyn account or any other podcast hosting service, you will need to upload that trailer there and go ahead and submit it to the directories. Go ahead and publish it and then pick a date to start promoting it. What happens here is once your show starts getting on those directories, people can go ahead and start subscribing to your show and leaving reviews when you tell them that you're launching a podcast on said official launch or release date. Okay, so what happens is when that official release date arrives or gets here, people already know about the date. People have already been anticipating that launch date. They're already subscribed. So when the episode goes live, that first episode, people are already subscribed, which means they're listening, they're downloading, they're sharing. This helps you to rank on the charts, whether it's just locally in the United States or in other countries. This also helps you to rank higher on the charts, especially on Apple Podcasts. And so I've been able to help my clients to chart within like the first couple of days of their shows launching because of this simple strategy. And so this is just one strategy that I share with my clients in our Launch Your Podcast Like a Pro VIP days. This is a strategy that I obviously use within my podcast network, etc. And so I wanted to share that with you guys. If you are interested in launching a podcast, if you've been wondering, like, what exactly do I need in order to launch my show? These are 5 things I wish I knew before launching Table Talk with Toddy that I'm so thankful that I know now, because they're really 5 easy things to take into consideration, but they're all things that I wish I knew before launching. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope that this was helpful. If it was helpful, let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, thumbs up this video, share this video. If you have any other questions about launching a podcast and how it can help you get to your bottom line of income and impact in 2022 and beyond, Make sure to leave me a comment down below and subscribe to my group chat newsletter at natashaweston.com. All of the information will be down in the description box. Until next time, I will see y'all in the next video.